Hi, my name is Rob Jensen. I'm the owner here of Avant-Garde College Prep Services, and today we're back with another episode of AGP Redefined. And in these episodes is where we talk about activities that are occurring within our organization, the students that are part of those activities, and a lot of the accomplishments and success that they are able to achieve within those. And so today here I have Kyler Larsen along with me. I also have Wang. And then we have two members that are a part of College Station Code Society, and that's one of our student organizations that we have underneath the umbrella of Avant-Garde College Prep Services. And they're here to just kind of talk a little bit more about their experience and what they've been able to, largely the accomplishments they've had with this organization. So you guys want to kind of just maybe tell us, just briefly introduce yourself, tell us a little about yourself?
Yeah, so like Rob said, I'm Kyler Larsen. I'm a rising senior and I go to A&M Consolidated High School. Outside of coding, I also like other STEM related things like math, but I like to read, play video games, and run.
My name is Will and I'm also going to be a senior. I also go to AMCHS, and I'm vice president in the coding society, and at school I'm involved in BPA, which is Business Professionals of America, which is like, and I do the programming contests in the club.
Awesome. So the organization's been up and running for about 2 years now or so, and so within that we've steadily encouraged some growth. Why don't you just kind of just detail a little bit about your general experience with the organization and what y'all may have been able to do with it?
Yeah, so I think both of us here have pretty much been here since the beginning, and it's really like changed or grown a lot since when we first started. I remember like the very first meetings that we had, there was like 3 or 4 of us there, and we were just kind of sitting around trying to figure out what this club was going to look like. And it's really great to see how it's kind of changed into today. We have 15 plus active members in this club. We're very collaborative. We work on projects together, and everyone just kind of, so it's a great way to like meet other people that share a passion for coding, and it's what you like to see.
Yeah, for me, I like the competitive programming part. Like we'll be able to introduce like new members into competitive programming, which is like very useful if they want to like go to college for computer science and get a job in tech.
Yeah, that's another great point that you bring up. Like lately here, we kind of switched from a more project-based code society focus to more of a, but just like we've added a competitive programming side to our club, like Will said, and this is like a great resource for people that share a passion for coding and kind of want to do something a little bit with more like gravitas almost towards it, something that colleges can recognize and like hold to the same standard across the entire nation. And these competitions are a great way of doing that. One specific competition that I know me and Will compete in a lot is called the USA Coding Olympiad. And do you want to touch more on that?
Yeah, so the USACO is has 4 levels, and from bronze, silver, gold to platinum. And right now I'm gold, so like the questions are really challenging, but for beginners you can easily get promoted to silver, and it is like if you get to plat, it will be recognized by the top colleges.
Yeah, and that's a great thing that Will brought up about the divisions. It's like the lowest one is bronze, but that doesn't mean like it's easy. All the questions and all the competitions are very difficult, but that's what makes like the achievement so satisfying. That's why colleges recognize it as something like grand whenever you've advanced like to Will's and gold. I'm in silver, and I know many of the people in our club have yet to advance. So we're working on improving our competition performance, but I believe like that's an important part of our club.
Yeah, y'all mentioned, and I think that's something that was a new element that we added this past year, right? The first year we didn't really have that a part of the organization, and so we have sought out and looking for more tangible goals that you guys could actually work towards and achieve and put on your resume. I mean that what you did, and you achieved silver with USACO, and Will, you achieved gold with USACO, and I think at one point you kind of mentioned the the levels for which people progress, right? There's like a certain cutoff or percentage, and as you sort of progress through that, the more challenging for what that becomes and stuff. And so, tell us kind of like what do those levels sort of look like, and also like, you know, I think we had maybe 5 of the members participate, but what were some of the things that y'all were doing in your preparation for those contests that you were doing?
So like if you're going from bronze to silver, you just need to know like basic language features and like how to brute force. And when going from silver to gold, it'll be harder questions. You need to learn like strategies, data structures, algorithms. And from gold to platinum, it will be very difficult. You'll need to know like advanced topics such as dynamic programming, like more advanced graph theory, and then like also you need a strong math background in order to like solve the problems. So the preparations we did for USACO is we worked on past USACO problems, like the past bronze problems, and we go through the problem solving, like the thought process for problem solving.
Yeah, and another thing to mention about like the preparation is it's a lot better if you start preparing early. So I know that a lot of the people in our club are pretty like young in their high school years. I know me and Will have at least been coding for quite some time. I think you probably before like high school, right?
Yeah.
So like this type of competition is something that'd be beneficial to start like preparing for early. You don't have to prepare specifically for like USACO. Just like learn, you know, the simple basics of coding. It makes it a lot easier to learn the more advanced stuff if you have a good foundation, and that can just make progression a lot easier.
Yeah, that's a good thing that you kind of mentioned there, Kyler, is, you know, Will, you mentioned that Will kind of started before high school. Can y'all maybe talk just sort of briefly about, you know, how did this even become like a spur of an interest of yours or something like that? And what kind of gave you maybe the courage or the initial, you know, desire to maybe pursue this, and what did those initial learning environment look like for you?
So for me, I got into programming because I got a TIA for calculator, which you can run programs on it. And that was pretty cool. And then later that year, that was in 7th grade, and later that year I got into C++ programming. It's from a book. I just learned. I learned like the basic stuff from the book, and then I kind of stopped a little bit until in 2020 I got recommended a video of a guy doing competitive programming, and it looked like very cool. He like types very fast, and he's like doing all kinds of complicated stuff. He solved like an entire contest in like 20 minutes. So I was really intrigued. So I just started looking at problems and then going through his past videos on like suggestions and like recommendations for like beginners. Yeah.
Yeah, and I got started kind of a similar way. I like my whole life I've been like interested in more STEM related stuff, but I've always kind of been more interested in math. Unfortunately, there's not like a great real world application stuff for math that you can like kind of get your hands on early on. A lot of it's like projects that you need lots of like either funding or other stuff for, and I didn't really have access to that. So the next thing that I figured out trying to learn was coding. I was not great at the start. Like I remember I started some in like 6th or 7th grade, just like on Khan Academy, trying to learn how to do like what the free stuff that they had. I think it was like JavaScript or something. But I like stuck through with it, and I think the first language I learned was Java, and I learned other languages like Python, and I'm learning now C++. But I think that like Will mentioned, a lot of it you need to just start learning like based off like past problems and other like type things, especially for preparation for USACOs. You need to look at like what other people have done in order to like kind of improve yourself, I guess.
Yeah, and I think you know, when I'm always visiting and with students, and I kind of you know, broach the topic of what have you considered coding? Have you considered, maybe introducing the skill, especially like so many students who are looking towards engineering now, and there's almost kind of a need or a requirement of just some sort of base foundational level of understanding how to do it, because it's part of so many degree plans now. Can you maybe just what kind of little advice would you give to students who are a little bit anxious or nervous, when they think about, oh my gosh, coding or something like that? What kind of maybe helped you to kind of persist, beyond your initial struggles? Because from what I understand, it does kind of have like a little bit of a long learning curve, and but once you kind of get past the initial, introductory concepts and foundation of it, then it kind of really, begins to build on itself.
Yeah.
So basically, if you like do contests, mini contests on like websites, a lot of people like easily get discouraged if they like do bad on the contest. They just want to quit because they think they're not good at like competitive programming is not for them. But like this has happened to me before, but I just kept practicing and eventually it worked out.
Yeah, and I definitely have had similar experiences. Even like recently, it's like the worst feeling when you train so hard, you go to this competition and you're just stuck and you're not able to advance, and then you basically wasted all that time, and now you have to wait for the next competition cycle. But I think just deep down, you kind of just have to, you need to know what you want. If you really want to become good at programming, this failure is only like a temporary setback, and you kind of just need to like push through it. It should hopefully provide more inspiration, like maybe study harder or study differently. You could, like Will said, there's YouTube videos about people doing this stuff and being really good at it. That could provide motivation, or just like more tips and stuff. That would be great, learning more about competition programming.
Good. And so we certainly spent good amount of time talking about the competition coding, and that's been a really new, exciting part or introduction to the club. What other sort of things as you come to these meetings and like what other aspects of it do you find that are attractive to you that keeps you coming back, and as you try to encourage other people to maybe give you guys a look or something?
Yeah, so I can definitely touch on that. And so this was actually the idea developed by our last president, which is Aiden. We do big group projects across the entire club. We've done a couple of them now, and what I really like about them is we don't just relegate them to one or two people to just do this and then present it to us later. We kind of break it up into a lot of smaller chunks at the beginning. So before we even start programming at all, we write the whole problem statement out, or what we want, what our objective is, and then we break it down into the three phases of input, process, and output. And we try to break it down into as small steps as possible. So for example, if we do tic-tac-toe, we break it into the input, where we place the X's and the O's, and then we break it into the process of, okay, now if this is a move, what is it, what process do we need to do, where is it 3 in a row or not, is it legal to put it there? And then for the output, it's just if they win or lose, or next turn. And this works really well because it allows everyone in the club to kind of get involved, no matter their skill level, right? Because there are easy tasks to do, and then there are hard tasks to do, and it can keep everybody in the club kind of actively engaged, because we can kind of meet to everybody's skill level.
Yeah. So to add on to his, doing projects like these really benefits your coding skills. For me, last year I started writing various Minecraft mods. They don't seem to be beneficial at first, but then you just learn so many things. It adds up.
Yeah, like Will said, a lot of these smaller projects that we do, it's good to just kind of see visual a visual representation of the work that you've put in. I know we've been talking a lot about competition programming, but aside from rankings and stuff, that doesn't really show you anything. But if you create a game or something like tic-tac-toe or solitaire, something that you can actually play and the average person would understand and find enjoyment from, that's a lot also can sometimes be a lot more fulfilling and like a lot more of a morale boost if like especially like when you've worked with other people to create it.
Good. And our primary language is Python, right? That's what we're
Yes.
primarily using and such. And so, what do you, as you've been a part of this, and I mean, I think, yeah, both you've been a part of it for a couple of years, and you've got this year ahead of us. What are we sort of? Is there anything new on horizon that we're looking to possibly do this year that? To kind of take the club maybe just one step further or something?
Yeah, well, one of the things that we're definitely hoping to change, like from the previous club, is we're going to start doing a lot more, I guess, the word instruction of sorts. So basically, one thing we've noticed among the members in our club is some of them just, or not some of them, but like a lot of them have a great like understanding of the language, but they have some like weak fundamentals in certain areas, and instead of just going to one by one and trying to like fix it, we're just going to hold like several like lectures across the course of a couple of weeks in order to get everybody up to speed. This is a little bit of a change from what we've done in the previous previous years or so, because we've kind of been more focused on like collaboration, not really like teaching at all. But I think this is just kind of like, we're still going to be collaborating, we just kind of need everybody to everybody will kind of be more on the same level, or at least like in a more level that they can be more collaborative, I guess.
Yeah, so another thing we're trying to focus more on is the competitive programming. So once we like get the fundamentals out, we're probably gonna teach them more advanced techniques and probably have more like a little bit more challenging problems from like coding bat or other competitive programming resources.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like Will said, where the fundamentals will help them learn the more advanced topics, right? Because if they don't have the fundamentals, they can't learn the more advanced topics. And that's another thing, another kind of goal change of the club is before our goal had really just been like kind of become a collaborative community, make a few projects, and that's that. But now I think we want to try to steer more towards like, this is a club where we can kind of get together and like improve everybody coding, like working together. And yeah, we'll still do projects, we'll still create things, it'll still be fun, but in the end we can also like get something out of it, right? We can like improve our skills and like get stuff that would look good on our college applications.
Yeah, so kind of before where it was maybe collaborative, and that was really good because you're trying to establish a community there and such, but now we're trying to maybe swing back a little bit and maybe do a little bit more instruction, and along within that, then trying to elevate everyone's skills. Mm-hmm. So that's, and I know we kind of, you talked about, what was it, Will, the code bat, what was it, I'm sorry?
Coding bat.
Yeah, and then also I think you guys had mentioned exploring some other competitions potentially, because right now USACO starts in December, is that right? December, and it kind of carries through January and February, yeah, and until March. But there are other months of the year, and certainly there's probably more opportunities, and as we try to provide those additional chances for students to kind of participate and maybe in competitions that have other focuses outside of what USACO provides. So, but I guess as we kind of look to sort of wrap this conversation up is, I mean, gosh, there's you guys meet once, twice a month. There's hours put in that's outside of it. I mean, what are you kind of hoping to ultimately, one, to sort of get out of the club itself, but then but even beyond the club, like what do you kind of hope that will then provide to you there after your time has ended here in high school? So
well, we hope to bring more and more people into like STEM and tech, and then have more and more people participate in these coding competitions, and then let them have them understand the joy of coding.
Yeah, and it's like Will said, there's a lot of people out there, I'm sure, that they're interested in coding. They think they want to do it, but there's not really an option for them to kind of meet other people that do it and kind of really increase their skills. And that's what I hope this club is for. that's the reason why I was one of the, I worked with other people to found this club, is because there was kind of a shortage of resources to meet other people that love coding, are good at it, and want to improve. And I hope this club can help other people like it's helped me throughout these years, and has made me, not just a better coder, but like more collaborative, more open to teamwork, and just generally a better person.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I guess as I know you came on, and you and Aiden as kind of from the start, and certainly were very central figures in to what it is today and such. And so I know, Will, you've been a very strong standing member in it just as well, and contributing to its leadership too. So outside of that, we are College Station Code Society primarily meets on first Tuesday.
Yeah, we meet the first Tuesday of every month, and then we usually have one or two other online meetings on Tuesdays later in the month.
Yeah. And so if that's something that appeals to you, if you have an interest in coding and maybe want to check us out, we are hosting meetings over the summer months. And so, Kyler will and will be helping to sort of organize and to run those meetings. Get in touch with us, give us a call at the 979-450-7151, or, go onto our website at avantgardeprep.com and shoot us an email, and we'll be happy to get that information to you. But other than that, I want to thank you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming on, sharing your information. And we appreciate you all out there. Thank you.